Man, we all got to face the same damn thing, pain. Started from zero with it. And if you don't go back and deal with it, it's going to haunt your ass. Everyone walking around is insecure. Every single person. And when you're in physical pain, even if you ain't actively thinking about the shit that's mentally wrecked you, believe me, your mind's still chewing on it. You want to know how to prepare for the shit life's going to throw at you? You start by understanding that a strong body makes for a strong mind. That's the foundation, man. When you step into the fight, you better have your head right, your body ready, your mind sharp. When soldiers go into combat, they wear body armor, right? But what the hell do? We neglect the most important armor we got, our mind. You got to strengthen that, man. Take full control. The reason we quit when life throws us into the dungeons is because we ain't got the mental tools to survive that shit. So here's my message for you. You got to ask yourself, why the fuck are you doing this? What's driving you? What makes so many people quit SEAL training, special ops, all that shit? It's because their minds are too damn comfortable. You're sitting on your couch, watching Navy SEALs on the Discovery Channel in your cozy ass 72-degree house thinking, oh yeah, I could do that bullshit. People today are getting weaker, softer. Why? Because they cap their brains. They feed it garbage about staying away from anything they're bad at. They're capping their expectations. If I had that mindset, I'd be a 400-pound loser, working some dead-end job, making no money. I would have never known what the hell I was capable of. I would have never become a Navy SEAL, never gone through Ranger School, never pushed myself to find out just how far I could go. Here's the truth, man. The real you is scared. It craves comfort. It wants to live in a world where people pat you on the back and feed you the lies you want to hear. That's where it all starts, at the bottom of fear, insecurity, self-doubt, and bullshit. I was there, man. Curled up in the fetal position. You know how I got out? By facing that shit head on. By being brutally honest with myself, owning it, and then fixing it. We live in a world where social media lets you lie to yourself about how great you are. That shit's easy. But you got to dig deep, find the source of your problems, and fix them. I don't need that fake shit. I'm good. People ask, why do you still do this? You know why? Because right now you're a leader. You sit here in front of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people. That's why you do it. Why do you get up at 3, 4, 5 in the morning? Because you're setting the standard. You're showing others how it's done. People always ask me, what the fuck drives you now? Here's the thing, man. It ain't about you anymore. If you're sitting there thinking, I'm good, I'm comfortable, then you've lost the whole damn point. You got to flip the switch in your head. God or whatever the hell you believe in gave you everything you wanted. Now it's payback time. Time to pay those bills, not just for yourself, but for the people watching your ass. When you're getting up at 6 a.m., busting your ass, it's not for you anymore. It's to set the example for everyone else. And let me tell you something, man, the most important conversation you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. You wake up with that voice, you walk around with it, and you go to bed with it. And eventually you act on it, whether it's pushing you to do great shit or weak shit. There's always going to be haters, people trying to get in your head, trying to fuck with your mind. But here's the truth. You have to be tougher than that noise. You got to understand when they're trying to infiltrate your mind and shut that shit down. Boxers, they go hide before a big fight to get away from distractions. But most of us can't run away. We got to live in the chaos and still stay focused. You can't let other people own your mind. You got to lock that shit down and live in your own head, not let anyone rent space in there. I'm writing my book now about the hero David Goggins, but guess what? The hero ain't me. The real hero is you, the one reading this. But I had to drag my ass through the mud to give you hope. I had to show you, hey, I came from the fucking sewer. I didn't just face hell, I created it for myself. Yeah, society threw some shit at me, but I built a lot of that hell with my own hands. For years, man, I just wanted to feel good about myself. After 26 years, maybe more, I finally said enough, but you know what people do? They set these bullshit finish lines. I'll stop when I'm tired, fuck that. I don't stop when I'm tired, I stop when I'm done. My mind, it was weak as hell. And guess what? Your mind knows you better than anyone. It knows your fears, your insecurities, your weaknesses. And it's going to show up at the worst fucking time every time. You're trying to push through, you want to succeed, and your mind will whisper, take the easy way out, but you got to learn your brain just like it's learned you. If you don't, it'll own you. People always ask, how do you stay hungry, Goggins? Because when I finish something, I don't sit back and get comfortable like most guys. They finish BUD/S, they finish Ranger School, and then they wonder, why am I getting soft? Why am I losing my edge? It's because comfort is the enemy of progress. You stay hungry by never thinking you've made it. That's how you keep the edge. Once you hit the top of the mountain, you start thinking, I'm good, man. I'm good, but guess what? That's when you start falling. You wonder why you're slipping? It's because you got comfortable. Once you reach the top of that mountain, you better start building a new one. Otherwise, you're sitting in mediocrity. And there are a ton of people stuck in that bullshit, walking around with a nice resume. But they're one-timers. They hit it once, got some money, maybe got a little fame, and now they're coasting. That's mediocrity. These people go to the gym, get big, get jacked, run fast, but all they're really doing is coding over a weak mind. They're building a bigger, stronger quitter. The body looks tough, but the mind is still soft as shit. So when life comes at them, when adversity hits, they're standing there all confused, like, what the fuck? I'm in shape, I'm fit. Why can't I handle this shit? It's because the mind hasn't been trained. Your mind's still weak. Stay hard. Man, life's always throwing tests at you, always trying to hand you an excuse not to show up. And yeah, today might be a tough day, but guess what? You got to show the fuck up anyway. You got to have the mentality that every single day, no matter what life throws at you, you step into the fight. It's on you to show up at the Coliseum of life ready for battle. I don't care what you're dealing with. It's your responsibility to find your new 100%. That's on you. People look at what I do and go, oh my God, that's insane. But nah, man, don't look at it like that. I didn't give a damn about losing weight or being the fastest. I wasn't going to the Olympics. Hell, I could barely read and write. I wasn't going anywhere. Working out wasn't about becoming some elite athlete. For me, it was about building calluses on my mind. I had to get rid of that victim mentality. For me, it has always been about mental toughness. You see people waking up at the crack of dawn, putting themselves through hell. It looks brutal as fuck. And I said to myself, that's what I need to do. Not to get bigger, not to get stronger, but because that's how you build yourself. That uncomfortable shit, that brutal stuff, the things you don't want to do, that's where you find out who you really are. So I made a list, man. A list of every single thing I didn't want to do. And by going after that list, I found myself, I don't take days off, man, not when it comes to working out. You want to know why? Because you got to build your armor every single day. First thing in the morning, you need to build your confidence. Every day, you're either gaining confidence or losing it. You're never standing still. And how do you build confidence? By liking what you see in the mirror. If you wake up fat, out of shape, feeling like shit, you're going to carry that energy with you all day. So my whole thing is simple: get up and get after it. Get your mind right. I run every day. I work out every day. I stretch every day. I spend anywhere from 3 to 5 hours a day working out because that's what keeps me sharp. Keeps me focused. No excuses, no days off. I'm always thinking about my life, the raw, ugly shit I've been through, because I want to share that with people. I got to take it back to old school. There ain't no secret sauce, no magic pill, man. It's just straight up hard work. And yeah, I hate to say it, man, but you want to know the secret to success? The secret to business? The secret to pushing past all that crap life throws at you? Look at these hands. Hard fucking work, man. I'm not some magician. I don't got some magic formula that's going to make your life easy. It's real simple. You're going to wake up every day and tell yourself, today's going to suck, and then guess what? Tomorrow's going to suck too. And the next day after that. That's life. Unless you're some lazy ass who gets lucky with $1 million idea and never has to break a sweat, but that ain't you. That's not most people. For the rest of us, you wake up, punch that mental time clock, and get ready for the grind. Every damn day, I was out running in 100-degree heat, sweating like hell, and this dude pulls up in his car, rolls down the window, and asks, why the hell are you out here? I looked him dead in the eye and said, because you're not. Sometimes that's all the motivation you need because nobody else wants to do it. Sure, we need doctors, we need teachers, we need all that, but we also need savages. And that's what I'm talking about. This message ain't for everybody. Too many people want to talk about recovery before they've even done the work. Every time I give someone a workout plan, they start asking about recovery. Fuck recovery, do the work first. We're all out here looking for a way to feel comfortable, trying to twist my words to fit in some safe little box. Nah, man, don't put a title on me to make yourself feel better about your own lack of effort. If you read my book, you'll see where I came from. I wasn't made by God. I made myself. I built this person out of all the insecurities life threw at me. Those insecurities, they're yours now. Own them. Dive deep into that pain and make yourself. Man, let's get raw. If you're not smart, call yourself dumb. Don't sugarcoat it. Own that shit because it's true. But don't take it like a punch in the gut. Take it as fuel. If you're fat, call yourself fat. Hell, I used to be 300 pounds. We've been conditioned to talk all soft to ourselves, looking for an easy out, a fucking recovery day. Guess what? That recovery day you keep chasing, it ain't coming. Life is your recovery day, every damn day. So stop waiting for some magical break. It's not coming. Deal with it. And that's the mentality I had to adopt. And when I did, all that petty, meaningless crap in my life started to disappear. I used to lie to people just so they liked me. Why? Because I was insecure as hell. But when you start putting in the work, grinding day in and day out, something changes. You start building real confidence, the kind no one can take from you. Not that fake ass shit people walk around with, but the kind you earn through pain and effort. Suddenly you don't need anyone else to validate you. You walk into a room and you already know. I know the blood, sweat, and decades I poured into becoming David Goggins. That's my fucking badge of honor. It's not a medal on the wall, not some trophy for people to admire as a feeling in my heart. And people ask, why don't you smile more, man? I don't need to. I'm not here to show you some happy face for your comfort. I don't give a damn about pretending. Half of us are out here faking happiness. Not me. I stopped giving a fuck about how people perceive me a long time ago. I used to think it was all about the cars, the women, the external shit. But you know what I was missing? The guts to face myself. And when you start doing that, when you face yourself every single fucking day, it's not about the miles you run or the weight you lift or how hard. You think you train. Where I truly found my strength was in the hours I put into learning, into conquering my weaknesses. When you're not smart, when you have a learning disability, but you still want to be the best, you don't just want to scrape by. You want to crush it. I had to study 10 times harder than the smartest kid in class. And you know what? I fucking caught up. I wasn't born with it, but I earned it. That's where David Goggins was built at a kitchen table with 20 spiral notebooks, all empty. Then 3 months later, they were full. That's where the real battle happens. Not in the gym, not on the track, but in the trenches of your mind, in the dark moments when no one's watching. When you look at those notebooks filled with your grind, you realize, damn, I learned this. I built this. And that's when you stop fucking around and you start living on a different level. Man, it's not about the fucking miles. It's about the discipline every damn day to sit down and say, this math problem is going to take me 10 hours. That's right, 10 hours. But here's the truth. Most people don't want to face through hard work. You can outwork anyone. I don't care how badass they are. You put in the grind, you'll surpass them. But most people don't want that. They're afraid of that kind of commitment, that kind of pain. Here's the problem with most people. They set these little finish lines. I got a saying, I don't stop when I'm tired. I stop when I'm done, and that's the fucking truth. When I was younger, I didn't have any goals, man. It's not about goals. It's about a to-do list. If you don't have a to-do list as a human being, you're just going to sit back, get soft, and fade away. You see it all the time. People in the military, in business, they're like, I'm going to do 20 years, then I'll retire. All right, what's next? That's why I don't just have a to-do list. I have a what's next list. I never sit idle. Not for a second. I don't know what it's like to sit back with free time and say, I've made it. I've arrived. Hell no, I don't arrive. Ever. And then you got people who ask me, are you happy? Let me tell you something. People who ask that, they don't get it. I'm so driven, so relentless that it scares the shit out of people with weak minds. It makes them uncomfortable. When they ask if I'm happy, what they're really saying is, you're making me feel like shit about my life. Back when I was weak, I used to look at driven people and say the same damn thing. I didn't understand them because my mind wasn't strong enough. I tell myself they must be crazy. They must be unfulfilled. They must be miserable. Why? Because I didn't have what they had. I couldn't understand the level they were playing at. So when I get those questions now, I know I'm right where I need to be. I'm making people feel something. I'm shaking them up. Even the good Lord rests, but he didn't tell me to rest. I've got faith, but nowhere in that book did God tell me to sit the fuck down. I believed I could do this. You know why? Because I had a voice in the back of my head I was always running from. I was scared. Scared of water, scared of failure, scared of not being accepted. I didn't accept myself, so I chased the easy path, the comfortable path. But that voice kept whispering, you've got it, man. You can do this. but you're going to have to fail a lot first. That voice haunted me, but it also pushed me. It said, face it. It's not as bad as you think. You're capable of more than this, so I leaned into the grind. If I had to crawl, I crawled. If I had to walk, I walked. And I just kept going further and further. Grinding doesn't even cover, it's deeper than that. It's about going beyond what anyone thinks is possible, especially yourself. Man, when I finished running, I didn't stop. Hell no, I'd hit the bike, then the pool. And if I had any more time left in my so-called retired day, I'd crush the gym. I developed this insane workout routine, minus 200, 300 reps of light weights. It wasn't about lifting heavy, it was about fucking volume. My gym routine became absolutely savage. Why? Because I knew I had to become somebody. If I didn't, I was no good to anyone. That fire came from a dark, disgusting place. A place of not being fulfilled. A fear of dying without ever accomplishing that shit. And most people run from that fear. They don't want to face it. But me, I face that shit every day. I didn't want to be just another fucking guy who lived and died without making a damn impact. I paid the bills. I made $1,000 a month. I sprayed for cockroaches, if that's your life. And it fulfills you, cool. But it wasn't enough for me. For the first time in my life, minus 26 years, and I needed to feel fucking good about myself. No one was helping me out. My mom was working 3 jobs, going to school full time. My dad, let's just say he wasn't around. So I had to figure this shit out on my own. Here's the truth, man. No one was coming to save me. Every morning I'd look in the mirror and hate what I saw. I felt like a scared little kid going nowhere, doing nothing. Most people look for help in that situation, but you know what? The best thing that ever happened to me was that no one gave a fuck. No one felt sorry for me. Back then, no one was telling people to stop picking on me. Hell, the KKK marched in our town's 4th of July parades. That's the kind of place I grew up in. I realized I wasn't going to be some punk kid for the rest of my life. The only way I was going to turn this shit around was by embracing suffering. I had to build calluses in my brain. I looked at myself as the weakest person God ever created. But I didn't blame God, I blamed me. And I made it my mission to become the hardest motherfucker alive. Am I there? I don't know. But I had to set a goal. Back when I was that scared bully kid with no self-esteem, I realized one thing: the only person who could change me was me. The only way out was through the worst shit a human being could endure. That's how I'd build my mind, through pain and suffering day after fucking day. I didn't want to win to beat anyone else. It wasn't about that. I wanted to go the distance. In everything in my life, when shit got hard, I quit. If it was reading, I quit. Writing, I quit. I wasn't good at it, so I quit. I wasn't fast enough, so I fucking quit. And that's the shit I had to change. I had to break that weak mentality, and the only way to do it was to face everything that scared the hell out of me head on. That's how you go from being the weakest person in the room to being someone who doesn't quit, no matter what the fucking world throws at you. Man, there came a moment where I thought to myself, if I could just go that extra fucking mile, just to finish, that was it. I wanted to finish. Victory wasn't about being number one. It wasn't about beating anybody else. It was about crossing that damn finish line. I thought if I could feel what those guys feel when they finish, it would change my whole fucking life. But you know what I realized? The best feeling wasn't when I finished, it was when I was alone, grinding it out, trying to lose that damn weight. I had to lose over 100 pounds in less than 3 months. And I started feeling victory just by getting into the fucking fight. That was the key. It wasn't about going to Navy SEAL training or being the 23rd guy sitting in that chair. It was about me going to war with myself every single day. The battle wasn't with anyone else. It was with me. The obstacles, insurmountable. But that's what made the difference. It wasn't about dropping 106 pounds in one go. It was about losing 5 pounds, then 10, then 50. Each step gave me confidence, and each step made me realize something. Those guys out there, they can't do what I'm doing right now. Man, I didn't have a coach. I didn't have a trainer. I didn't have money. I didn't even know how to lose weight. All I had was pure fucking work ethic. I was just sacrificing, grinding every day. And through that process, I discovered tools inside me I didn't even know existed. But here's the thing, you'll never find those tools if you don't put yourself in a seriously uncomfortable fucking place. Everybody's out here looking for toughness. Everybody wants to be tough. But they think they can find it in a comfortable environment. You will never find it there. I tried to find it too until I learned that the only way to develop toughness is to throw yourself into situations where you're out of your fucking element, where you're drowning, struggling just to survive. And instead of quitting, you figure it out. You say, I don't care if I'm drowning. I'm going to figure out how to fucking backstroke if I have to. I've been through 3 hell weeks, range school, and more obstacles than most people will ever see. But let me tell you, man, there was a moment in the last 30 miles of this one race where I realized something deep. Humans aren't just humans anymore. We've got the ability to go beyond what we think is possible, but only if you're willing to fucking suffer. And I mean, really suffer. When your brain and body connect on that level, you can do anything. Those last 30 miles were the hardest of my life. I was in more pain than I had ever felt. I honestly thought I was on the brink of death. But you know what? I broke that 30 miles down into small pieces. That's how I got through it. I was driven as hell. And let me tell you, motivation is bullshit. Motivation comes and goes like the fucking wind. But when you're driven, nothing is going to stop you. Whatever's in front of you gets destroyed. I sat in that damn chair. And I wasn't just running a race anymore. It became personal. It was me against that race, me against myself. It was violent. It was raw. And I broke that whole thing down into tiny steps. Get some nutrition. Stand the fuck up. That's what I did. Step by step. Until I could stand up and keep going. That's what it takes. You chunk it down. You fight every inch of the way. And you keep going, no matter how fucked up it gets. Because when you're driven, you don't stop. You finish the damn race. So there I was, barely able to fucking stand. I'm walking around with my wife at the time, and she looks at me and says, you're not going to make the time. I was at mile 81, destroyed, completely spent. But the second she said that, something snapped. I ran the last 19 miles nonstop. People hear this and think, this guy's fucking crazy, sadistic. But no, if you knew where I came from, you'd understand I was just a scared, weak-ass kid who found drive. I found a way to become more than I ever thought I could be. Here's the thing, man. I don't believe in taking days off. Why? Because that mentality of I deserve this or I've earned that is just your mind fucking with you. It's that weak voice inside you telling you to slow down, to feel sorry for yourself. I've been there. I was saying the same shit to myself. Today's self-talk was trash. That's the voice we all have. The one that whispers, take it easy, man. You've earned this. You deserve to rest. That voice is powerful. But you got to start developing the other voice, the voice that fights back. The one that says, nah, fuck that, man. We're not done when it's not a designated day off. I don't give a damn if it's running, swimming, biking, or studying. You don't take a day off. You've got to train that second voice to drown out the weaker one. That's how you win. You can't give in. Work on that other voice every damn day. Every one of us has these moments, these defining moments that either make or break us. One fucking decision can change the rest of your life. 19 years ago, I was that fat 300-pound dude spraying for cockroaches. And I made a decision to try and become a Navy SEAL. That was my goal. Every day after work, I'd haul my fat ass out and run a mile, maybe a mile and a half. And there was this rock at the half-mile mark on my run. That rock, man, that was my moment. I'd get half a mile in 297 pounds, breathing heavy, legs burning. I'd sit my fat ass down on that rock, wanting to quit. I was freezing. There wasn't some motivational quote, no inspirational speech. It was just me out there in the cold, faced with a choice. That rock was a moment that should have broken me. But I made a decision. I got up. I kept fucking going. That one decision, that moment, changed everything. I realized in that moment, it's not about having someone to pull you up. It's about pulling your damn self up. You've got to make that choice over and over again. That's the shit that defines your life. I put every fucking thing on David Goggins becoming a Navy SEAL. It's like walking up to the damn craps table with your last dollar and saying, screw it, I'm putting everything on black. If I lose, I'm broke. That's what I did. My entire life, me, the guy who was terrified of water, who had to teach himself how to fucking read and write, everything was riding on me becoming one of the hardest motherfuckers on this planet. Think about that for a second, a guy who came from absolutely nothing. I bet my whole damn life on becoming a Navy SEAL. And what blows my mind is I went through all of that, suffered all that shit just to get a chance to succeed. That's what most people don't get, man. Everyone sees the end result. They see the Navy SEAL. They see the medals. They don't see the blood, the sweat, the fucking sacrifices. This generation is soft as hell. The second they get called out or yelled at, they crumble. You did this wrong, you did that wrong, and they quit. And quitting is easy. And that's why it's so damn easy to be great nowadays, because most people are weak. If you've got even an ounce of mental toughness, if you've got any self-discipline at all, if you can push yourself to do shit you don't want to do, you're already ahead of 99% of people. People don't get it. I fucking hate running. They ask me, why do you run if you hate it so much? What kind of stupid question is that? I don't like taking showers. I don't like eating either, but I do it. That's life, man. It's not about what you enjoy. It's about what needs to be done. It wasn't until I flipped my mindset that I became somebody. I hated school, so I was dumb. Simple as that. But here's the truth, man. You get through the shit you hate, you'll find greatness on the other side. People don't understand that. Every time I run, I'm not just training for a race. I'm callousing my mind. I'm preparing for life. I'm training for that 2 a.m. phone call, the one that tells me my mom is dead or some other tragedy hits. I'm training so that when life throws its hardest punches, I don't fucking fall apart. My mind, my body, and my spirit, they're all one. That's how you survive the shit life throws at you. The life I've lived, it'll beat you down if you're not ready, if you're not mentally and physically prepared. And if you crumble, you're not just failing yourself, you're failing everyone who depends on you. Every painful moment, you remember it. Most people try to sweep that pain under a rug and forget about it, but you can't. Lift that damn rug up and you'll find all those moments. That's how I wrote my book. I didn't forget any of it. You don't want to remember, but that's where you fuck up. That's where the failure starts. You keep trying to move forward to pretend it never happened, but that's why you keep making the same damn mistakes. Growth doesn't happen by forgetting. It happens by facing your pain head on. That's how you become better. You got to own your fucking weaknesses, man. Own them. Triple down on them. Why? Because that's how you become a full human being. Most people run from their weaknesses like they're fucking haunted. If you're good at running, what do? You run. If you're great at reading, you bury yourself in books. But when it comes to the shit you're bad at, you avoid it. I used to be the same way, running from the things I sucked at. But I had to face that shit. I had to dive headfirst into the stuff that made me uncomfortable, the stuff that made me feel weak. I had to stop pretending. That's when everything changed. I owned both sides of myself. I stopped trying to impress people, stopped putting on all these fake identities. Man, I spent years trying to fit in, trying to make people like me. I'd sag my pants, then I'd pull them up. I'd change how I talked, how I acted, whatever I thought would make me fit in. I was fucking desperate to be liked, to be accepted. But here's the thing, when you look in the mirror, that's the one person you can't lie to. Every morning when I'd shave my head, I'd have to face myself. I reflect on all the lies I told, the bullshit I put on to impress other normal people. That's the key word, normal. I was busting my ass trying to impress people who were just ordinary. How fucking pathetic is that? And every time I looked in that mirror, it would slap me in the face. My reflection would say, "You're a pathetic man, Goggins. How does it feel to be like this?" That hit me. So I started holding myself accountable, checking myself. How did I attack today? How did I handle yesterday? If I wasn't proud of something, I'd write that shit down on a sticky note and I'd fix it. No excuses. By the time I hit my senior year in high school, I wasn't the same David Goggins anymore. I realized that discipline, not talent, was the key to changing myself. The military didn't teach me that. I learned it through trial and error. I had zero self-discipline, man. Zero. But I knew if I didn't change that, I'd stay weak forever. So I started working on it little by little. I sucked at reading and writing, had all these learning disabilities that made school a fucking nightmare. But I sat down at that table and I fought through it. I spent hours reading, writing, grinding through the stuff that was hard for me. And you know what? That discipline with learning carried over into everything else. It translated to my workouts, into how I approached life. It became my foundation. You know, my knees are fucked up, right? But that doesn't mean shit. That doesn't mean you stop. You don't stop pushing. Life ain't about quitting because things got hard. It's about improvising, adapting, and overcoming whatever shit is thrown at you. People hate that message. They hate when I say keep pushing, keep finding your new 100%, keep finding your best self. If you don't like that message, this ain't the place for you. I'm about people digging deep, finding the best version of themselves, not making excuses, and overcoming every fucking obstacle in their way. So today I can't run, I can't do much, but guess what? You can bet your ass David Goggins got after it. On the other side of that extreme place I call suffering, and you can call it whatever soft name you want, there's a whole other world most people never even see. But here's the thing, you have to go through that extreme shit to get there. Most people want to stay right here in their little comfort zone where it's safe and easy. But once you push yourself to that next level, that extreme place, it's like stepping into a whole other fucking universe. It's like being an astronaut. Except you ain't floating around in outer space, you're exploring your own mind. That shit was always there, but you never saw it until you dragged yourself through the muck, through the pain, and came out the other side. And you're standing there like, why the fuck didn't I see this before? Through all that pain, all that suffering, you find out there's a whole other universe inside your head. A whole other universe. So here we are, another early morning. You're probably thinking, man, I've seen so many videos of Goggins putting his shoes on early in the morning, but you're missing the point. Every single morning is different. Every damn day we've got choices to make. You can stay in bed, say, fuck it, I'm not working out today, or I'm not grinding today. You can take the easy route every single day. You have that option. But here's what makes it different. Yesterday, I made the choice to get up, lace up, and get after it. Today, I'm faced with the same choice. Every day is a new fucking battle. And I'm choosing again to put those shoes on and get after it early as hell, because that's the only way to get ahead. Make the right choice. Stay hard. It's about going that extra fucking step when you think you can't. That's where self-esteem is built. That's where you find self-respect. It's not about stopping when shit gets hard. It's about pushing through when you've got nothing left. People ask, Goggins, how the hell did you run 135 miles through Death Valley? How'd you run 100 miles with no training? Because I didn't go into it thinking, I can't do this. I went into it with a strategy, with an open mind. That's the key. Until your mind is open to the possibility that I can fucking do this, you'll never do it. You've already lost. But once your mind starts believing it's possible, then only then it breaks it down tactically, step by step, how you're going to make it happen. That's the whole damn thing. Don't say shit. Stay on top of the most uncommon people, the people who are constantly pushing. You're never fucking done. Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done. Your mind is sneaky as hell. It's got a tactical advantage over you because it knows your darkest fears, your insecurities, and it'll use them against you. The moment doubt starts creeping in, your mind will say, hey man, let's just quit. Let's go back home to the wife, the kids. This shit is uncomfortable. So what do you say to yourself in those moments? That's the real question. No coach, no trainer is going to keep you going. It's only you. You've been busting your ass your whole life for a seat at the table. You want to be the best among the best. You finally get that invite steak, lobster, all the top dogs are there. And in that moment, your mind is trying to direct you, trying to protect you. It's trying to save you from pushing too hard, from stepping into that pain. But the truth is, it's just trying to stay in control. It's saying, I don't want you to break through. I don't want you to find out how strong you really are. But here's what you forget, you're in control of your mind. You put that fucking governor in place, not the other way around. The mind feeds you excuses, tells you to stop, but you're the one who decides. Once you start breaking through that barrier, you'll see the power is yours. You want to know how I turned David Goggins into Goggins? I had to build that motherfucker from the ground up. David Goggins, that dude was a soft, introverted kid who got his ass kicked growing up. He was scared. He lied to fit in, lied to make friends, lied to be accepted. But I wasn't going to stay that way. I had to create something harder. I had to dig deep and invent someone who could walk through hell and smile. That's when Goggins was born. He's like the motherfucking Superman who walks out of the phone booth, except he ain't wearing no cape. He's wearing pain, suffering, and discipline like armor. Listen, man, we're all underdogs. Every single one of us. You think the top CEOs or legends like Kobe and Jordan didn't have doubts? Bullshit. Even the best in the world are underdogs because they make themselves hungry every day. They choose to stay uncomfortable. So whether you're the real underdog or you put yourself there to stay sharp, we all got that fight inside us. This is about your mind, man. This is about unlocking that savage inside. You think you can just read some damn self-help book and suddenly everything clicks? Fuck that. It's not some 5-step program you can follow, then boom, you're fixed. No, man, these so-called experts don't know shit until they've walked through the fire. I didn't figure this out from reading books. I figured it out by suffering. Through pain, I found out the mind has power you can't even imagine. And once you hit that breaking point, you break through and there's a whole new world waiting for you on the other side. We sleep a third of our lives. And then we got the nerve to take days off like we've earned it. Like we deserve to sit back and take it easy just because it's Christmas or New Year's or whatever the fuck else. Time doesn't care about your birthday, your holidays, or your excuses. Time is ticking whether you're grinding or not. You want to sit there and contemplate your life, fine, but you're running out of time while you do it. So do one thing, stop following the crowd. They're taking time off. Good for them. You can't afford it. Stay hard, stay focused. The world ain't fair, but you can still grind through it. It's fair enough to give you a shot if you're ready to take it. And don't get it twisted, fear is the biggest reason people fail. It's the excuse machine in your head that keeps you from stepping up. Fear is in your mind, and that's where you crush it. You got to be ready for anything because life is always throwing the next challenge at you. Too many people wait for some big event to get them pumped, to get them prepared. Fuck that. Every damn day is your event. I don't stop when I'm tired. I stop when I'm done. I remember those runs, man. We'd know the start and end points, and halfway through, people start smiling, thinking it's almost over. But then those instructors would keep going right past the end point, and you'd see the life drain out of them. That's when I start taking souls. Because right then I knew I had EM beat mentally. They'd given up. Don't ever give up. Stay in the fight. Life is the most brutal motherfucking endurance sport out there. And guess what? You've got to love it. You've got to flip that shit on its head and embrace the fact that life's always coming at you. No timeouts, no breaks. You don't get to tap out like a boxer when things don't go your way. You've got to figure that shit out right then and there. You've got to be the person who's always ready, always prepared for the next hit, because it's coming whether you like it or not. But here's the thing, man, right now, we're all dealing with something most people want to run from: solitude. And it's scaring the shit out of them. When you're alone with your thoughts, you've got to face all that ugly stuff you've been avoiding. No more distractions, no more bullshit. Life isn't your escape route anymore. This is the time to man up and stop running. Grab that pen and paper, look inside yourself and face your demons. Quit looking at me or anyone else to be the hero of your story. It's time for you to take that role and stop hiding behind excuses. Man, I never thought at 300 pounds I could even dream of being a SEAL. If I had let my mind stay shackled, you wouldn't know my name. There'd be no book, no speeches, no Goggins, nothing. I'd be just another guy stuck in his own bullshit. What people don't get is they're living small, thinking it's just about them, not realizing they have the power within themselves to change millions of lives just by facing life head on, by facing their own damn selves. I could have died never knowing I had the power to impact so many. But God, man, he put me in a hell of a spot. He made hell my teacher. A lot of people don't get that. They don't see that the fire, the pain, the suffering, it's all there to teach you something. So I'm here trying to flip people's minds, give them a whole new way to see life. Failure, hell, disappointment, discomfort, those are your best teachers. Most people are too scared to embrace that shit. Hell, a lot of people listening to this won't even understand what I'm saying right now. But it's those little moments, those few seconds in life that define you. For me, it was that clip from Rocky round 14. That 2-minute, 13-second scene where Rocky gets up after Apollo knocks him down. That shit hit me hard. I was going through one of the darkest times in my life and I saw it. I didn't see a guy who won. I saw a guy who got the fuck back up after being knocked down. That's what I needed. That 2 minutes and 13 seconds changed my life. I realized that moment could flip my world upside down. Maybe my story could be someone else's 2 minutes and 13 seconds. Maybe me standing up after getting knocked the fuck down could help someone else find their own strength. Most people, they're living in their comfort zone. That's fine. Don't listen to me if you're cool with mediocrity. But there's a lot of people out there who are looking for that moment, and maybe, just maybe, I'm the one who can give it to them. I know what it feels like to be alone. Alone with your demons, alone in the grind. But you've got to flip that shit on its head. I gained strength from what I call a sewer mentality. And that mentality, it's the one where you're crawling through the mud, the sewer of life with no coach, no trainer, no mentor, no one telling you what to do. It's just you grinding it out with a straight up killer mindset, a warrior mindset, a mindset that says no matter what, I'm getting the fuck up for round 14. You can knock me down all you want, but I'll be right back up swinging. You've got to learn how to flip that loneliness into straight up power. That's what I did. I told myself, if I can claw my way out of this mental sewer I'm living in, if I can face all this shit by myself, imagine how strong I'll be on the other side. And let me tell you, you gain a ton of strength from that. That's how I started looking at life. I stopped seeing all the bad shit life was throwing at me as setbacks, and I started seeing life as the ultimate training ground for where I wanted to go. One of the most inspirational times in my life was when I weighed 300 pounds, trying to lose weight, having all those tough self-talks, searching my brain for any strength I could find. That was my proving ground. You start building these mantras in your head. Every few seconds, it's like a new mantra pops up, something that keeps you going. There's power in that, man. That's the power of having an underdog mentality. And here's the thing. Every time I go out to work out, I'm not out there as David Goggins, the guy who's done all this shit at 44 years old. No. Every time I'm out there, I'm that 300-pound dude, spraying for cockroaches, nothing to my name, because if you start thinking you've arrived, that you've made it, then what's the point? You'll be out there thinking, I don't need to do this anymore, but that's bullshit. For me, it's all about going the distance. I'm not out here trying to break records every day because that'll burn you out. I know most people aren't doing what I'm doing, and that's enough. That's what keeps me pushing. And here's another thing, man. If all you do is bench press and you love bench pressing, what the hell are you learning about yourself? If you only swim because it's what you like, what are you finding out? People always talk about triple down on your strengths. Fuck that. You need to triple down on your weaknesses. That's where the real growth is. You already know the good stuff about yourself. You know the happy moments. People always ask me on my Facebook page, Goggins, why don't you talk about the good times? Because you don't need help with that shit. You don't need anyone telling you how to get through the happy times. That's easy. What you need is someone telling you how to get through this shit. That's real life minus 90% of life sucks. Only 10% is happy. And even if you're one of those lucky ones with money and a great ass woman, I guarantee you this one-on-one with that guy, he's missing something. He's got something eating him up inside because he hasn't faced the one thing that's been haunting him his whole life. Life ain't all sunshine, man. You've got to face the hard stuff, the ugly stuff, and learn how to keep moving forward. That's where the strength is. Maybe you found a way, like I did growing up, to ignore that voice in your head, the one that tells you to quit, to stop. I learned at a young age that I had a weak ass mind. Straight up, my mind was soft. And I didn't want anything interfering with my thoughts. You know how some people need a little drink before they step on stage or they smoke something, take the edge off? Nah, man. I want to feel everything. I don't want a damn thing masking my fear, my doubt, my pain. I want it all raw. I'm not saying people who drink or smoke are hiding from their shit. Some people just do it. But to me, that's a masking agent. It's like you're taking the easy way out so your mind doesn't have to work as hard. And for me, if I'm not working my mind to the max, then I'm losing. I thought I was giving it my all, man. When I was sitting on that chair at mile 70 during that first race, I thought I'd given 100%. My body was wrecked. My mind was screaming, you're done. But when I pushed through that last mile, I realized something I wasn't even close to 100%. That's when I came up with the 40% rule. It's like a car with a governor. They tell you the car can hit 130 mph, but the governor kicks in and stops it at 91. You're flooring it, thinking, why the hell can't I go faster? That's what we do to our brains. We put a governor on them. As soon as we feel pain, discomfort, or suffering, those words, everyone's too scared to say because we live in this soft-ass world, we hit the brakes and we slow down. But if you can push past that shit, even by 2%, 5%, a little more each time, that 40% becomes 60%, 70%, 80%. One day you might just hit 100%. I don't know many people who've hit 100%. Hell, I haven't even hit it yet. I thought I did during that 101-mile run, but I wasn't even close. And that's the scariest part. You don't even know how much you're capable of until you push past what you think is your limit. I didn't die on that run. So what does that tell you? I don't give a damn how old you are or where you're at in life. The second you stop pushing, The second you stop chasing that next level, you stop growing. You start dying. So don't think you're at 100% just because you're tired. You've got way more in you than you think. You're out here growing in a comfortable ass world. You're letting yourself grow in an environment that's safe, where everything's just fine. But guess what? There's no real growth there. The real growth, that's in the place you don't want to go. That's why you're not there. You know damn well where you should be. And you avoid it every morning you wake up thinking, man, I don't want to do this today. People don't get it. They think it's all mental, but the physical starts it all. They see me running 10, 15 miles and ask, why the hell do you do that? It's not about the miles. It's not about being like me. It's about challenging yourself physically every single day, because that's where the real growth happens. You got to push your body to push your mind. That's where it all starts minus 100%. When you do that, everything grows your mind, your spirit, your confidence. You feel better about yourself because you're getting after it. There's nothing like pushing yourself mentally and physically, doing something that scares the hell out of you every single day. But here's the thing, man, you've got to be aware of the bullshit conversation going on in your head while you're doing it. Your mind will always pick the path of least resistance. Your brain, it's got the ultimate tactical advantage over you. It knows your scars, your fears, your insecurities. It's there to protect you. That's where the 40% rule comes in. Your brain's wired to keep you safe, to stop you from jumping out of planes or swimming where sharks are. It's a protective mechanism. Don't go back there, it says. But here's the problem. It protects you so much that it stops you from growing. The human brain is an amazing thing, but it's also your biggest enemy if you let it control you. You've got to flip that script. You need to control your mind, or else it'll steer you straight into the soft places it wants to live in. Your brain already has enough information. It's like, I don't need to go through this hard shit. I want to stay peaceful, stay safe, but guess what? That's exactly why you've got to do it. Your brain doesn't want to harden. It doesn't want to face scars. It doesn't want discomfort. But that's where you have to live if you want to grow. Who the hell wants to stay peaceful and soft? Nobody chasing greatness does. Take a day off, no one would know that voice creeps in. And it's tempting as hell, right? But here's the thing, man, there's always some motherfucker out there working harder than you. That thought haunts me, man. It eats at me. Knowing that somewhere someone's willing to sacrifice it all, their comfort, their sleep, whatever it takes to be better. They're out there right now grinding. There's no face, no name to them, but they exist. And that's the thing you make damn sure. When people start thinking about who's working the hardest, they put your name and face to it. You do the haunting. Get in their heads. When they think of who's out there giving more, pushing harder, you make sure it's you. In those moments when you feel like quitting, when you're tired, beat down and done, you remember one thing, all those hours, those days, those sacrifices you made to be the best. Stay hard. I coach a lot of people now. Hell, I got billionaires calling me saying, man, I'm still missing something. They got it all, beautiful families, 3 houses, fancy cars, everything you can dream of. From the outside, it's like, damn, how the hell can you not be happy? But guess what? They aren't. They did what they were good at. They made their money, but something's still empty. Meanwhile, I'm out here with a backpack, no car, no fancy house, and I'm walking around happy as fuck. Why? Because I found out the key to this life, man. It ain't in all that shit. You got to face yourself. Most people go their whole damn life, live to 100, and die miserable, even with all the money, all the success, because they never examine themselves. I call it my live autopsy. You got to cut yourself open while you're alive. Take a hard look at what's inside. Happiness, peace, enlightenment, it's all up here in your head. People think I'm crazy when I say that, but it's the truth. It all starts in your mind, man. You got to go face that shit. And that's where it gets hard. You want to grow? Start diving into the shit you're afraid of. Confidence doesn't come from doing what you're good at, from going to your happy place. That's a false reality. The second life hits you with a real challenge, you'll want to retreat back to what makes you feel comfortable. That's not where confidence comes from. You know what gave me confidence? Spending years sitting at a kitchen table, trying to teach myself how to read and write. Realizing I don't learn like everyone else. But you know what? I can still learn. And that's what builds you up, facing the hard stuff, tackling the things that tear you down. That's where the real confidence comes from. Face yourself. What gives you confidence isn't about being fearless. It's about beating fear's ass every time it shows up. I used to stutter like a motherfucker. And right now, I don't know how many people are going to watch this, but you know what? I don't give a damn if I stutter. That's what gives me confidence, not hiding from it, but facing it head on day in and day out. It ain't about overcoming that shit once and never dealing with it again. No, man. It's about facing it over and over and over. And maybe you don't beat it every single day, but you show up and you fight. After a while, you realize this is where it's at, not in some cozy comfort zone, but in the discomfort zone. That's where confidence gets built, in the middle of the shitstorm. But most people, they want the easy way. They want the shortcut. Well, guess what? There isn't one. I searched my whole life for an easier answer, man, and all I found was emptiness. I feel like I was making progress, then one tiny setback, one small windstorm would knock my ass back to square one. And I was like, why the hell can't I break through? I was a junior in high school and could barely read. I had a 4th grade reading level and I was out there cheating just to get by. So I taught myself how to read, how to write, how to discipline my mind. But even then, every time a real challenge hit me, that same damn wind would come and knock me back into the hole. You know why? I wasn't fixing the real problem. Everything I was doing was surface level. I wasn't going deep into the cellar of my mind, into the foundation of my soul. My soul was broken, man, but I knew I could fix it. I was just too scared to face it. I was scared to go back and deal with the demons from my past. So what do? You start lying. You don't want people to know the truth about who you are, so you create this fake ass version of yourself, someone you want to be. But it ain't who you really are. And I realized until I'm ready to go deep, deep into the sewer of my mind and confront every dark, nasty thing in there, I'm never going to get over that hurdle. I'm always going to be stuck on the surface pretending until I face the real shit holding me back. Man, that shit is hard. We all get caught up in social media, trying to put out the perfect version of ourselves. We post that highlight reel, the good stuff. But guess what? That ain't fixing a damn thing. I realized that, and that's when I knew I had to go back. I was about 24 years old. I went from 175 to almost 300 lbs. Sitting on my couch, fat as hell, I realized we got to go back. And no one was going to pull me out of that hole. No mentors, no guidance. Just me and my messed up mind. So here I am, 24 years old, surrounded by people who thought I was crazy. But they didn't know where I came from. They didn't know the dark shit I had to deal with growing up. I came from a place that damaged my soul, wrecked my mind. And now I had to go back to face it. That voice in my head kept saying, we got to go back, man. It was haunting me. The only way forward was to go all the way back to where it started. And that's some scary ass shit. But if you want to fix yourself, you got to face the demons that have been eating away at you since your childhood. That's where it all begins. Everyone thinks, oh man, my marriage is fucked up. My life is falling apart. But nah, man, you got to go back to the root of the problem. You can't just slap a Band-Aid on it, take some damn Motrin, and call it good. Just like a jacked up knee, sure, the swelling might go down for a while, but the knee's still busted. You got to get to the source and fix the real issue. People tell you can't change. You're born a certain way. And that's just it. Bullshit. I did what they said couldn't be done. I know exactly where I came from and the battles I had in my mind. So when someone tries to say you're stuck, I'm like, nah, man, with the right mindset, you can change. You can. But you have to go into those dark chambers of your mind. The ones you shut off and pretend don't exist. You got to kick down that door and face that demon head on. You got to look at yourself and get real. I did that every single day. I come home and face what I call the accountability mirror. What am I going to do today to change what I see in that mirror? What am I going to do today to stop lying to myself and start fixing what's broken? Man, let me tell you something. I stopped trying to fit in with the cool guys. I said, fuck it. This is who I am. I tucked in my shirt, walked into school. Like, this is me. Don't like it. I had to grow some thick ass skin to take whatever people were going to throw at me. Call me a geek, a nerd. I didn't give a shit. Because I knew one thing, you're going to see me. I'm done pretending, done being who I'm not. And that's where it all starts being real with yourself, even if it's ugly. Look, I got fat. I'm not sugarcoating it. I was fat and I had to face that. People want to say, oh, don't be so hard on yourself. Don't say you're dumb or fat. Fuck that. If you don't get real with yourself, you're never going to change. We live in this soft ass world where people want to say you're just big boned. You're just a little chubby. No, man, you're fat. And it's okay to admit that because once you own that shit, you can do something about it. It starts right there in front of that mirror where it's raw and ugly. I had to look myself in the eyes and tell myself the truth. It wasn't easy, but I'm damn proud of it. For too long, I lied to fit in. I faked it to be accepted. If you liked UFC and I didn't, I pretend I loved it just to be your buddy. But I hit a point where I had to ask, who the fuck is David Goggins? Who am I? I found out by walking this path alone. Nobody handed me a trophy. Nobody ran those miles for me. Nobody lost that weight but me. I suffered, bled, and broke on my own to build the man I am today. A savage, ultra competitive. You can take that however the hell you want, but it's the truth. You have to call yourself out, man. Stop hiding from it. And look, it ain't some overnight miracle, man. There's no 5 steps to greatness bullshit. You don't wake up one morning and suddenly you're a whole new person. Nah, man, this shit is every day. It's hard work and it's ugly. Like right now I'm on this show and I'm shaking because I'm still that introverted kid. But I face it, and that's the key, you face it. Every single day you face that reality. If you're fat, say it. I'm fat, but don't stop there. You start losing those pounds and guess what? You're on the right track. Losing 3 or 4 pounds. That's a fucking win, man. Celebrate that. You got to live in your own world, not this social media garbage where you're comparing yourself to others. That shit will ruin you. You're running a race against no one else. It's your journey, your grind, your pain. And you better get used to doing it alone. Cause that's how real growth happens. Stay hard. Let me tell you something, man. Life ain't about being better than the next dude. It ain't about trying to outshine some motherfucker who ain't even in your lane. That shit's weak. Nah, man, it's about looking at yourself in the mirror and owning your shit every damn day. You got to say, okay, yesterday I did this. Today I'm going to do that. I broke my shit down to yearly goals, weekly goals, daily goals, hell, even hourly goals. I didn't leave nothing to chance. One of my biggest goals, quit being a lying piece of shit. Growing up, I lied all the time because I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be liked. So I made a goal. Let's go one fucking day without lying. And when I fucked up, and believe me, I did, I went back and owned that shit. Do you know how hard it is to look someone dead in the eyes and say, hey man, I lied to you. I straight up bullshitted you. That shit hurts, but it's real. That's total accountability. It's the shit no one wants to do because it's uncomfortable, but that's where you grow. This morning, I ran before talking to you. Why? Because that's who the fuck I am. I'm about it, not just talking about it. Most people take the easy road, the well-lit highway with all the signs and the fast food joints, but that's the bitch way. They see the shovel on the side of the road and step right over it. Me? I picked up that shovel and started digging my own goddamn path. It's rocky as fuck, full of boulders, and yeah, maybe some people get further ahead on the easy ass road. But when you come out the other side of the shit I'm going through, that glory, you can't even explain it to someone who hasn't suffered for it. The problem is most people are scared. They're fucking terrified of their own potential. They'd rather sit back and say, I ain't good enough. I wasn't made for this bullshit. Sure, maybe you ain't going to be LeBron James, but you got more guts and willpower than you ever thought possible. Most people never even tap into that. I talk about the new norm. When I lived in a shitty ass $7 a month place as a kid, that was my reality. I didn't know no better. Then we moved to a $236 a month place, and suddenly I was like, I ain't never going back to that shithole. But if you find yourself back in that $7 spot and realize this is all I got, your mind's going to say, fuck it. This is home. Now your mind adapts. It accepts what you throw at it. When I was going through Navy SEAL training for 18 goddamn months, breaking down over and over again, I realized one thing. This was my new normal. My body was fucked. My mind was tested, but I told myself, this is how it's going to be. It became like going to work. Like you put on a suit and tie. I went into suffering every damn day and I owned it. And every single day I was in a world of hurt, broken, beat the fuck down, duct taping my damn feet together, stress fracture, shin splints, body damn near falling apart. That was my new normal. My mind started saying, if we ain't broken, something's wrong. We need to be broken. And guess what? That shit made my mind harder than steel. You can't just go through hell, you got to become it. People ask me all the time, how the fuck did you run on broken feet, on shattered shins? My mind had already decided this is how we roll now. We're in Navy SEAL training, and this is who the fuck we are. I didn't just go to hell, I became the devil for a while. I owned that place. I was the CEO of my own suffering. Ain't no way out once you commit like that. You become the pain, you live in it. and you fucking thrive. So while folks are out here talking big about how they're going to change their life or do this or that, they ain't accountable for shit. Are you really holding yourself accountable down to the finest fucking detail for the shit you're saying and doing? I am. And that's where the real change starts, total accountability. No lies, no bullshit. You got to be raw as hell with yourself. You put your dirt out there. You tell people exactly how fucked up you are, just like I'm doing right now. You put your past up on a billboard on the busiest damn highway in the world and say, this is who the fuck I was. Hell yeah, you got to dream big. I'm all about that. Some of why I all want to be doctors, lawyers, maybe even special ops. You got that vision. You can see it. It feels so real. You could damn near touch it. But here's the cold, hard truth, man. If you dream big enough, eventually that dream's going to turn into a fucking nightmare. And when that nightmare hits, all these doubts start flooding in. Why the fuck am I here? I ain't good enough. I suck at swimming. I'm not fast enough. I'm failing these tests. You start asking yourself, do I really have what it takes? I know those questions better than anyone. They're going to come at you hard. And if you ain't got the answers, you're going to quit. But here's the thing. The answers, they're buried in the reps. All those painful, grueling repetitions you put into mastering your craft. That's where the truth is. You got to remember that every damn day. Embrace the suck. You adapt to that shit. You don't run from the pain, you lean into it. I started seeing my failures as fucking blessings. All the abuse, the bullying, the learning disabilities, stuttering. Yeah, my life was a nightmare, but all that shit was a gift. And I ain't here blowing smoke up your ass with some positive psychology nonsense. My life sucked. It was hell. But those struggles, they were gifts in disguise, man. Look, all the shit I went through, all the trials, the pain, the setbacks, that's what built my mind into the beast it is now. But for the longest time, I let people who had it easier make me feel small. They had better grades, better families, better everything. I put those motherfuckers on a pedestal above me, but guess what? Now we're on the same fucking field. And I'm staring them dead in the eyes, and I realize something, they ain't shit. You think just cause somebody came from a cushy background, had a better education, or two parents who actually gave a damn, that they're somehow better than you? Hell no, they're not. You got that same fire in you. It's just buried under more shit. Sure, they might have had a head start, but that doesn't mean you ain't got it in you. You just got to dig deeper to find it. That's all. Once I figured out how powerful the mind is, everything changed. I learned how to hack my own brain. I was that scared ass kid, man, but that fear, it became my weapon. Fear gave me power. It made me feel invincible. I don't live in that place all the time, but I know how to go there when I need to. And when you know you can tap into that dark place, man, you can run on broken legs. You can do shit that most people ain't even willing to try. That kind of power, that kind of mindset, it's a fucking game changer. Man, it's 4 a.m. and your feet are busted to hell. You're duct taping them together just to keep moving. You're at a disadvantage, but you're still there. You're still fighting. You're still fighting. You can either say, I'm broken, man, I can't make it. Or you can say, I'm broken, but I'm still here. I'm still fighting. I ain't got no other option but to push through this shit. That's when you find real power. Mediocrity is all around us, man. And the sad part is people are cool with it. We're all looking for the easy way out. We judge ourselves against other average ass people. And when we're the best of the mediocre, we think we're doing something. You walk into a room with 10 mediocre people and you're the best one. Now you think you're great. That's bullshit. That's the problem. We surround ourselves with people who make us feel good about our weaknesses, people who won't challenge us. We don't want someone calling us out, pushing us. No, we want someone who makes us feel comfortable in our mediocrity. And then people wonder why they lose their edge. They wonder why they're getting weak after they achieve something big. It's because the moment you reach the top of one mountain, you stop. You get comfortable. You think, I'm good now. I made it, but that's when you start falling back down. Because there's no new mountain. That's mediocrity. You want to know how to stay hungry? You keep building new fucking mountains. You don't get soft after a win. You don't let your ass rest on what you've done. You go out and find the next challenge, the next fight. That's how you stay hard. That's how you crush mediocrity. Man, everybody's sitting around waiting for some big revelation, waiting for their why to magically show up. Fuck that. Start now. When you do find your why, you'll already be in motion, already grinding. And when that purpose hits, you're ready to go full throttle. Let me tell you something, man. I've got a gift. My gift. I can see the end before the beginning even starts. And that's what drives me. I know where the fuck I'm going before I even take the first step. When I was 300 pounds, fat as fuck, trying to get into buds, I already saw myself walking across that stage at 191 pounds, earning my damn SEAL trident. I wasn't anywhere near that, but I saw it clear as day. I visualized it every single day, me crossing that stage, slimmed down, wearing that graduation certificate like a crown. That vision, that feeling of what it's going to be like when you make it, that's what kept me grinding. That's what made the suffering worth it. I put myself in that moment, feeling that glory a million fucking times before I ever got there. And that's what made the pain, the struggle, the bullshit worth it. You got to see the finish line long before you get close to it. That's the only way you'll suffer through the hell it takes to get there. Stay hard.